Hi all of you fruit enthusiasts and skeptics. Today I'll be reacting to this video, watching it for the first time. Now, how do I know it's something I want to do a reaction video to if I haven't seen it? Well, the video is called What If You Only Ate Fruit for 30 Days? But that's not the only reason. The other reason is this video is done by a person named Dr. Ekberg. Ekberg, yeah. This is my first video about him. A lot of my viewers might be, well, if they never heard of this guy, they might be thinking of someone else. Yeah, is that a coincidence that there's a person named Dr. Ekberg and another person on YouTube named Dr. Berg? They both do the same stuff. I'm familiar enough with Ekberg to know that I want to react to this and clear up some faulty information. I'm all decked out. I got my fruit shirt. All fruit all the time. Now, I didn't make this shirt myself. It's a Jamba Juice shirt. I've done some fruit-only diets, a lot of them lasting 1 week. And his video title was very intriguing to me because 30 days is exactly the longest I've gone with only fruit. It was an awesome month. I did it the entire month of July of 2009. At the end of that month, I continued on with a 100% raw diet, adding in vegetables and buckwheat sprouts, bean sprouts, potatoes. And I kept that up for another 8 months, another 6 months. And I've been high raw ever since, 50 to 100%. And my body was well equipped to handle that without many issues because I was already eating really high fruit diet, half fruit for the last 28 years. So I'm looking forward to see where he gets the 30 days from, because that wasn't really a thing when I did it. That's just how long I decided to go. So we're going to get started now. I know he's going to say some bad things about fruit, like they all do. I've never had any problems with eating fruit, although I do know how to do it properly. I think fruit is the most benign food there is. Now, I'm not going to be able to get through all of his video at this time because I want to keep my video from being too long. Because this guy went on for 30 frickin' minutes talking about an only fruit diet. So if he said the usual low-carb baloney, then it sure was a waste of time. Or was it? Let's take it from the top.
Hello, health champions. What if you ate only fruit for 30 days? Nothing but fruit. It could be the healthiest fruit straight off the tree. It could be fruit from the store or from a can or from a juice bottle. And while there are some differences, it's not as much difference as people like to think. We've heard the phrase, fruits and vegetables. Eat more fruits and vegetables. At least 5 a day of fruits and vegetables. We've heard...
So if you didn't know this guy before, here's your introduction. Meet the new low-carb teacher. Same as the old low-carb teacher.
Heard that so much that we think they go together, that it doesn't matter if it's fruits or vegetables.
Yeah, there's a difference, but it's not a big difference. He will point out the difference in calories. He's going to suggest... See, I can already guess what he's going to do. Then he's going to suggest that the fruit is bad because of the calories, because of the carbs equals sugar. But that's why fruit is better. You can't live off vegetables. You can't make vegetables your main food because there's almost no calories. And wouldn't it be good if you can get your vitamins and minerals from the same place you get your calories?
But I'd like to remind us of this Mark Twain quote. What gets us in trouble is not what we don't know, it's what we know.
No, that ain't so. Mark Twain, by the way, was a vegan and probably ate a carb-based diet because that was way back before low-carb. I like when anti-vegans quote vegans and don't know that they're vegan. It happens a lot.
Just ain't so. And every time in a video that I even mention fruit, I have people comment and said, you made good sense until you talked about fruit. Because it's like this.
That's right. That is right. This is where a lot of people just drop the ball once they get to fruit. I just don't know what people's problem is with fruit, the number one food of Earth, and we humans are lucky that we happen to be frugivores. We can take full advantage of this great food, which nature makes exclusively to be eaten. Weird. And so he keeps being told that he messed up when it came to fruit, and so he makes a 30-minute video. It reminds me of David Backman. Everyone's telling him, you messed up with veganism, you were wrong here, and he just doubles down.
It's like this holy grail that we're not allowed to criticize or question in any way. So let's compare fruits and vegetables.
What's that called? He's playing politics here. I'll just call it a straw man. That I don't think people are actually saying that, even in the fruitarian community. There's things you got to watch out for. Like, you don't want to just eat citrus. You can get too much citrus.
So first of all, they're both very, very low in fat. They're virtually fat-free.
And he's going to say that's bad.
They're also very low in protein.
See, I've got this stuff down. I know what these people are going to say. I know what they're thinking before they say anything. Anyway, that's another good thing. It's clear that nature or God made us for consuming a diet low in protein.
Even though there's some protein in there, they're both still very low. So far, they're looking very much the same. But when we get to sugar and we compare fruits to vegetables, we find that fruit has about 5 times more, about 10%.
So fruit wins on this diagram, because that's exactly what you want. High sugar, low protein, low fat.
If you were to eat only fruit,
Okay.
that was your entire diet, and there are people who do this,
Is
and they do
there?
this for years or even decades, and they write books about it.
And is he going to talk about the ones who are doing fantastic?
And they say that this should be the healthiest way to eat, and you should do it too. If you were to eat only fruit, then you would be getting about 85% of your calories from sugar. And on average,
In other words, from carbohydrates. That makes us carbotarians, which we are. 85, at least 80, a little bit over 80, that 80 being the 80 and 80-10-10. Not just the 80-10-10 diet and raw till 4, it's also a lot of other diets, macro percentages like the Pritikin diet, and maybe the starch dilution, other stuff, and those diets are very successful.
all of your food in the form of fruit and you get 2,000 calories, that means you need to eat about 4 kilograms per day, or about a little over 8 pounds of fruit. Then there's something called macros, and that's how many percent of your calories come from carbohydrate, fat, and protein. We are recommended to eat about 55% of our calories from carbohydrates, somewhere around 25 from fat, and about 20 from protein. But the problem is that the world as a whole has eaten much too much sugar for several decades. And because of that, we have destroyed our metabolic health.
He's reminding me of Dr. Berg in how he highlights in his voice the word sugar. It's like saying, the wall, recession, the deep state.
And now we can't tolerate this much carbohydrate. And therefore, there's a lot of talk about something called low-carb, high-fat. And that is what I generally promote. And it's not that everyone has to eat that, but it is the solution for most people. When people have destroyed their metabolism with a bunch of sugar, they have fatty livers, they're overweight, their blood sugar is high,
most people do not have, he's saying most of the world, China has been eating a carb diet for thousands of years. They do not have these problems that the U.S. has. The U.S. has these problems because they've combined the carbohydrates with a lot of fat, especially saturated fat, and junk food, and mix it all together.
Now it's not enough to just eat what you could have eaten to maintain, even if you eat good food. For most people, that's not enough, and instead we need to cut back the carbohydrates.
When you take these people with the metabolic damage and you put them on a high-carb, low-fat diet, it fixes their metabolism.
Fat is a more stable fuel. It doesn't trigger insulin. It is metabolized much slower. It doesn't affect blood sugar, and it doesn't destroy our metabolic health. But now,
carbohydrates are what nature mainly gives us for food. They do not cause any damage. The SAD diet mixes fat and carbohydrates, and his numbers aren't even right here. Is this percentages? That's actually by weight. That would make it true. Percentage of cow. Wait. Let me go back.
and there we are recommended to eat about 55% of our calories from carbohydrates, somewhere around 25 from fat, and about 20 from protein.
He is, I didn't catch this. He's saying that the SAD diet is the diet that's recommended by the U.S. government. No. The recommendations in the food pyramid are trying to get Americans off of the SAD diet. No one thinks the SAD diet is healthy. So that chart there shows what's recommended in the food pyramid. That's not the SAD diet. Misdirection. This is like an illusion show he's doing.
Vegetables typically have more vitamins and more
We know, it doesn't matter.
minerals than fruit. And as far as the fiber buffering or slowing down the sugar, it will slow down the absorption a tiny little bit.
And while low-carbers are probably getting more nutrition than fruitarians are, the low-carbers are still dying before the fruitarians and the high-carb eaters. A few videos back, I made a video about another guy who turned 100 in the blue zone. And upcoming in just a couple videos, I've got a video about a keto person who died. You won't see this anywhere. You won't see this. I'll be the first one to cover it. It was told off the cuff by a keto person in a video. She did not equate the death to the keto diet, though, but still died. He died young. While we're living to 100.